We talking about sports, get ball.
What it do, baby? Yeah.
Can you add respectfully or no disrespect but to anything? Like, could I say, all due respect, you're trash, or all due respect, I hate you and everything you stand for? Like, is it a free pass?
I mean, yeah, let's do it. I think that's a great way to get away with a lot of stuff.
All right, let's fucking get it. Welcome, you number one podcast listeners, to another edition of Prem Brulee. I'm your host, Premal. No disrespect, but I fucking sucked in February, so I apologize to you number one podcast listeners, but we're going to try to make it right in March. I am joined on this episode by my cousin, Roshan. Welcome back, bud.
What's good, baby? And no disrespect, every episode that you released in February was horrible.
So congratulations. You played.
It's terrible. It was not number one podcast material.
All due respect, number two podcast in your headphones during February, back to number one in March.
What it do, baby?
Yeah, March 1, number one podcast. Let's get it.
Amen. All right, before we begin, we got a lot to cover because all due respect, but February sucked. But before we begin, a word from our sponsor. And you already know this episode of the Prem Brulee podcast is brought to you by Sleep Battle Photography. Sleep Battle is a boutique photo studio in Asbury Park, New Jersey. From cinematic stills, unique and classic wedding and elopement photos, even product or commercial photography like you see for the Prem Brulee brand. Sleep Battle is a full-service studio, so visit their Instagram or website at SLEEPATTLE or sleepbattle.com and treat your eyes into something nice. You already know, number one photographer for the number one podcast in your headphones. Thomas would already be doing all our family pictures and all that if he lived close by. He has still talked about coming to Columbus just for them, though, so shout out to my guy. We're going to have him on probably here soon because NFL draft is quickly coming, and I know he's in the middle of his scouting. I just checked on it today, so more on that later. But without further ado, Roche, let's get started on this episode. A lot to cover.
Alrighty.
So let's get to it for you number one podcast listeners. You already know UFM or Nas up first. We definitely got to keep it word association because you played yourself as nice and meaty this time. Guess that's what happened when you. Guess that's what happens when you absolutely shit the bed in February. But all due respect. All right, first up to cover NFL playoffs / Super Bowl 57. Everybody knows by now the Chiefs are Super Bowl champs. They defeated the Eagles 38-35. A last-minute field goal following a controversial holding call. It gives the Chiefs their second title in 5 years. It is their third appearance in 5 years. Just a ridiculous start to Patrick Mahomes' career. I mean, his career's already Hall of Fame worthy, and he's so young. So future's bright in Kansas City. They proved it without Tyreek Hill on their roster. They had a wide receiver core full of, just making things work and trusting the duo that is Mahomes and Kelsey. But your word or phrase for the Chiefs winning and overall in the NFL playoff?
As far as the Chiefs go, I'm going to go with what ankle. Mahomes looked pretty solid. That was it was a great display of football in the Super Bowl. I thought the game was great. I know everyone hated that call. The game wasn't really hung on it, but like you said, Patty Mahomes is on a tear right now, and it must be really nice to be a Kansas City fan and just sleep at night knowing that's your football team.
Yeah, I don't think we talk about how spoiled they are enough. So you already know we bring that petty energy here. So Kansas City Chiefs fans, you're on notice. Nobody's rooting for you anymore. You flew under the radar this whole time.
Yeah.
Take your quarterback that sounds like Kenny Powers and stop fucking winning. You've done it enough. So petty is real. Might charge my ex for a feature. My phrase for this, you already know. Team Snacks, Team Rihanna. That's how I feel about that Super Bowl. More on this later, including a call out of my co-host here, but I won't spoil too many things. I do think it was a shame that, going backwards a little, the NFC Championship game, the Niners were without a quarterback. That game turned into absolutely pointless. That sucked to see. The AFC Championship game was great, just as advertised. The future's also bright for the Cincinnati Bengals with Joe Burrow. So looking forward to seeing that rivalry. Cincinnati Bengals are the definition of you shouldn't have been talking shit. They talk so much shit about beating the Kansas City Chiefs. You just kind of felt like the Chiefs were due, and sure enough, they kept their receipts. So
the second they called it Burrowhead, I knew it was over. The second they called it Burrowhead, they should not have done that.
Yeah. Like, talk about bulletin board material. Anyway.
Yeah.
You hated to see it, but I was worried that would happen. Okay. So, yeah, Team Snacks, Team Rihanna. Huge Rihanna fan. Love seeing her. Announced her second pregnancy. That was badass. The stage setup looking like you're playing Super Smash Bros. And already, Team Snacks, like Super Bowls... We've talked about this in multiple editions of Prem Brulee in the past. One of the best snack days of the year. So don't ever get it twisted. I'm never going to see my team in the Super Bowl, so I'll always be Team Snacks on that weekend in February.
Going back to Rihanna real quick, I think it's crazy. Like, she hasn't put out music in, 6 years? Anti is now 6 years old about. Yep. And she came on, and I know we talked about it in our group chat a little bit. Like, we started listening to Rihanna, like, the day after and the night of, whatever it was. And it's just like, you forget how deep her discography is. And for not having put out any music in 6 years, she carried that show and she probably left out easily like 20 hits, like 20 huge hits. And it's just really cool to see that. And also it's just like, wow, she's this good. And she has like she really doesn't need to release any more music for the rest of her career because she makes enough money, doing her beauty line and her lingerie line. But man, what a dominating force in pop. Like we're seeing like our generation's like one of our biggest stars. Yeah, so
I agree. I think she said something like she had like 30 some iterations of the set list for that show because they're fitting it all into 13 minutes, and she has hit after hit. Like, one of my favorite Rihanna songs is Needed Me, and that wasn't even featured on there. But I'm sure it was on some of her different iterations. But everybody has an example like that. Anyway, love to see that. That was an incredible halftime show. I can't remember last time, like, the last 2 years have been just halftime shows I've really been looking forward to, and they lived up to it. It was like what you want.
Absolutely. Yeah.
The nostalgia was on 100, which sucks to say about Rihanna. I hope she knows she can make new music. It doesn't mean that she has to stop just because you said that. But anyway. Sources confirm she is a number one podcast listener. Please don't fact check me, but.
I mean, by degrees of separation, if we're as big of a LeBron fan as she is, like, she's pretty much a number one podcast listener. How do you argue with that?
Team LeBron people stick together. It has been
for sure.
Okay. Next up, spring training just started a little while ago, but brand new to the MLB is the pitch clock, getting a lot of attention these days. So wanted to give a quick breakdown. Those of you who haven't been paying attention, because it is spring training right now. A lot of you, your team is not coming off of World Series championship like the Houston Astros are. Yes, the Hoes are still mad.
Go Stros, baby.
Yeah, go Stros. But anyway, the new pitch clock makes it so that pitchers have 15 seconds to deliver when the bases are empty and 20 seconds when runners are on. Batters are limited to one timeout per plate appearance, and they must be ready in the batter's box with 8 seconds remaining. There is 30 seconds between hitters. So pitchers who violate their rules are charged with a ball, and batters who violate their rule of the pitch clock, they're charged with a strike. There are also some rules about pickoff attempts. I think you get 2 pickoff attempts to the same runner, and by the third one, if you don't get them out, I believe they get to advance. Something like that. I'll go first on this one. I am a fan. I love it. It is a small sample size, but early on, get this, the spring training games are lasting 20 minutes less. This is comparing this year's spring training, the first 4 days of spring training, to last year's first 4 days of spring training. So the game time is down from 2 hours and 57 minutes last year to 2 hours and 39 minutes in that small of a sample size already. So I love it. I saw today that there was a pitcher who had a 20-second strikeout. 3 straight pitches, it took 20 seconds. Now, I worry this could get a little extreme, but I love what they're trying to do with pace of play, because some of those games are just painful watching people get ready, especially the batters, like sitting there just grabbing their cup and like rearranging their batting gloves. Like, just get up there and be ready. So I'm a fan of this. What do you think, man?
I don't disagree technically with anything you said, but overall, I'm a nah fan. And let me tell you why real quick.
Right.
I feel like my word association is deprived, because, that's 30 less minutes a night that I get to watch the Astros rake on your favorite team.
From the bottom of my heart, I'd like to take this chance to apologize to absolutely nobody.
So,
wow.
You win some, you lose some, so I had to throw that in there. But,
Wow.
some of the players on the Astros are pretty used to, doing some goofy shit in the box. I don't know if casuals know, like Kyle Tucker is always like picking up dirt and all kinds of shit. But, I'll miss that stuff. But overall,
I think of his hands.
Yeah, I think overall it's good for the game. The only thing that I really do worry about is just like over stressing arms and like injuries. And, when you got, certain pitchers that rely on those breaks, this could, but, these are professional athletes. They're going to have to adapt and train properly and do what they need to. But hopefully come playoff time, they're a little more lax on the rules, because I really don't want to see like a playoff game decided by a pitch clock violation. Like, it's happened in spring training, which no one cares about. But if that happens like in the bottom of the ninth of like an ALCS, like this rule won't last long.
Right. I agree. Yeah, obviously they're trying to appeal to, the casual fan, because they don't have any problem getting the, usual baseball fan invested in the game. But this is a opportunity for them to gear the games towards
For sure.
the new fans they're trying to get in the stadium. We'll have to track that as we go when we get into regular season ball, even see how that goes.
Yep.
Okay, over to the NBA. We got to cover a couple things here. First up, the NBA All-Star happened. It was in Salt Lake City, as we all know. A couple new things. They did a live team draft before the game. Team LeBron and Team Giannis drafted their teams like an hour before the game. Damian Lillard won the three-point contest. Mac McClung was the slam dunk champ.
Who?
Team LeBron finally lost an All-Star game. Team Giannis defeated Team LeBron 184 to 175. Giannis played one play. He had a wrist injury coming in, so you could tell he purposely suited up for the fans, came in, won a dunk, and then checked out of the game. LeBron didn't play the second half after he hurt, I think it was his hand. He's trying to block a shot and got caught in the rim. 3 voted starters were hurt and didn't make appearances. That's Zion Williamson, Kevin Durant, and Steph Curry. So 3 starters out, and then another 2 ended up playing. One played a half and one played one play. So my word for this, I got one, is viewership. I'm a nod at the NBA All-Star game this year, and I can't quite pinpoint why, because they did the same format that's been working. It's just, I think it had to do with the injuries and all the starters being out. But this actually happened to be the least watched edition in history. Ratings dropped 29% and viewership dropped 27% from just last. That's my word for that one. Little underwhelming. I'm going to talk a little bit more. Mac McClung had a great dunk contest, but I'm going to talk a little bit more about that, and you played yourself. So what do you got for this one?
My word's definitely superstars. I mean, there were really not that many superstars on the roster that played significant minutes. Like, I kind of tweeted something like this, but it's like, what do you expect when, you're the largest minutes and like the most like quote unquote competitive part of the All-Star game has like Tyrese Halliburton, Drew Holiday, Lauri Markkanen, and Jaren Jackson Jr. Like, no one's tuning in for that shit. No offense to these guys. Obviously, they're great players. They're All-Stars for a reason. But I mean, ain't nobody trying to watch that shit. We're trying to see LeBron and Giannis dunk on like people smaller than them. That's what people watch the All-Star game for. I don't really get all this stuff about like the game's not competitive, blah, blah. It's like, man, who cares about any of that shit? Like, it's just fun. Let these guys have fun. But yeah, I mean, I tuned in for a little bit and it's a little goofy. And I just saw like the rosters, and I was just like very underwhelmed with the rosters. So I mean, that's why I didn't tune in. So I can't imagine a lot of people, their favorite player is, Drew Holiday. So no disrespect, but no one's favorite player is Drew Holiday.
All due respect to Drew Holiday, all respect to Drew Holiday, but his family doesn't even consider him their favorite player. So, but all due respect. All due respect. So, moving on in the NBA, the more appealing thing, I would say the best trade deadline in any of the major sports is the NBA trade deadline, and this one,
always,
just like every other year, did not fail us. Before the trade deadline hit, I think it was about a week before, you played yourself, Hall of Fame member Kyrie Irving was traded to the Dallas Mavericks. He's paired with Luka Doncic. He's traded in exchange for future draft picks, Dorian Finney-Smith and Spencer Dinwiddie, who went back to Brooklyn. Then we had about a week later, the Nets then traded King Snake, nickname to be determined, to Phoenix. They paired him with Devin Booker, CP3, and DeAndre Ayton. The trade sent back a couple of key young pieces, so the Nets didn't get nothing for them. Mikal Bridges and Cam Johnson went to Brooklyn, and then multiple future first-round picks as well. The haul you would expect to obtain Kevin Durant. The Lakers totally revamped their roster. They traded away the likes of Russell Westbrook, Thomas Bryant, Patrick Beverley, Juan Toscano Anderson, Damian Jones. They acquired D'Angelo Russell, who was drafted by the Lakers originally, and go Bucks.
What it do, baby?
They also acquired Jared Vanderbilt, Malik Beasley, and Mo Bamba from the Magic. So, a very distinct change. I mean, you're looking at some key players that were getting key minutes, and they switched them out, and it's seemingly faring pretty well for them. Obviously, with the trade deadline comes some key buyouts. Notably, there's quite a few of them. Like Patrick Beverley ended up being a buyout and went to the Bulls, for example. But I listed a couple main ones. Kevin Love was bought out from Cleveland Cavs. He's been there since their few title runs. He was kind of the last remaining piece there, but he got bought out by the Cavs. Everything seemed like it was, mutual and respectful. He ended up on the Heat. Russell Westbrook was originally traded to the Jazz in those deals the Lakers were making. Never suited up for the Jazz, was bought out. He ended up on the LA Clippers, so kind of nice for him. He doesn't have to move or anything. Terrence Ross, who was on the Magic, wanted to join a contender. He got bought out and joined the Phoenix Suns. So just some notable ones there. Obviously, I'm a fan. NBA is like always changing. It makes the East ridiculously easy. I think it's a 2-horse race in the East. It looks like it's going to be between the Bucks and the Celtics. And the West is absolutely stacked. Nothing will surprise me. We could see a lot of upsets. It really feels like this is the Suns' best chance ever in history, including the years they had Charles Barkley and MVP Charles Barkley. In my estimation, there's no excuse for them not to win. Maybe you have an excuse in year one because you haven't gelled, but this is quickly becoming, you got to win now, and legacies are on the line. Chris Paul being at the top of it, Devin Booker being there. I mean, you have 3 bona fide, huge names on one team, and then a young big man.
Yeah, and KD no longer can hide in Brooklyn. I feel like he's kind of gotten away from all the scrutiny that he's had because of all these injuries. And, I mean, I know he was nursing an injury, but he's coming back healthy. He dropped 20-something points. They won in his first game back. So I don't want to hear any gelling excuses. You got a top half seeded team adding arguably the best scorer in the league. I ain't trying to hear shit, bro. I'm not hearing no excuses.
You have two elite scorers and one elite setup man in Chris Paul. So absolutely no excuse. I mean, I unfortunately, I don't make the rules, except I do make the petty rules.
Petty alert.
If the Suns win, listen, I might count it for the original Suns players, but Kevin Durant does not get credit for this race.
It's the pretty boys versus the petty boys.
Telling you, this might be the unique scenario where the team does, but the only one that doesn't is yet again the guy who joins an already established team. So, just preliminary. I'm gonna think on it a little, just off the top of the dome.
Yeah.
You know, we don't want no Mickey Mouse rings.
Yeah, he's definitely bus riding at the very least.
All right. Anyway, that wraps up Yeah Fam or Nah. I think it is time, and the number one podcast listeners want to hear it. It's time for You Played Yourself, so let's hit that intro, baby.
I'm petty as hell.
And
I'm super petty.
here we
Petty Le Pew.
go.
You know why I'm here.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You already know. First up on You Played Yourself, we had to do it. Tony Davis. Yes, he's back to Tony. Some may know him as Anthony Davis. This man passed his Kleenex off injury proneness to LeBron James. LeBron James hurt his foot. And now he decided that there are plenty of injuries to go around, so he's out again. Shaquille O'Neal said this on Davis. Quote, I don't want to say this disrespectfully, but he has fell off, end quote. Now, you know, while we were talking about this, all due respect, but he sucks now. I said all due respect, though. Don't worry about it. So, Tony Davis, you played yourself. This happens every year. I mean, just when the Lakers, with their new additions, were like, okay, they're really starting to excel. They had a historic comeback against the Mavs. They were down 27 points at one time, came back to win. That was the game LeBron got hurt in. But Tony Davis just can't help it.
I can't disagree with anything. This is definitely my new favorite saying. I will be abusing it. This episode is any indication. We've already started abusing it. I also think that I know we titled the episode this, but the text message when these quotes came out, I was like, man, put me on the mic. That shit's hilarious. And it's like, Shaq's so funny because he said that on the heels of a 29-15 game, which I think is hilarious. Like, it was arguably AD's best game of like this entire season. But then the fact that he gets hurt right after it, Shaq's like, you know what? Fuck this. With all due respect, you suck. And I'm like, man, vibes. That's what we do at home.
Yep.
This guy's on Inside the NBA, and he's just like, he's one of us, man. I love it.
All due respect, but you fucking suck. All due respect, though. I can't call out everyone and not call out myself. So next, You Played Yourself is to me for saying the Cowboys would lose the wild card game to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They did win a playoff game. Thank goodness they won against the 7-9 Bucs team. But You Played Yourself goes to the allergic to prosperity Cowboys. They struck again. Just when you think
Always.
they might just ride that momentum of a great game. You know, Dak Prescott had his best game of the year, but he just had to come back down to earth. His turnover-heavy self came back and handed the game to a Niners team, despite a gem of a game by their defense. Who would have predicted it besides every single Cowboys fan, including me and Sonny? Think about this. Their defense gave up 19 points. They held Christian McCaffrey and Deebo Samuel each to under 60 yards total. They held them both under 60 yards. That should get you a win 10 out of 10 times. I said this in the previous episode, which all due respect was ages ago at this point, so I apologize, but all due respect. This team is never going to have postseason success. I'm telling you, it's just something in the air. Like, it's like it's pollen, but that facility has airborne success flying around, and everyone in the facility is allergic. And everyone in the facility forgets to take their meds for it. Like, that's the best way I can describe it, is these motherfuckers just sneeze away any chance at success. Impossible for them to absorb.
This is an elite metaphor.
And I just want to close because, I'm really trying to work on not raising my voice. It is the off season. This is the time where everybody has a chance. The NFL Combine's coming, everything's good. But it's a good time to remind you of what we talked about before, Sonny and I, on that last episode. The Jimmy Johnson Ring of Honor curse. I don't think I'm going to let that die because I'm running out of logical explanations to why they just can't fucking do anything when the calendar hits January. I don't even want to talk about February. February is where the Super Bowl is. They're not even close to that. I just want to see more weekends in January, but they don't even have. Nonetheless, You Played Yourself. I called myself out, but we brought it back down to earth. and our usual allergic to prosperity Cowboys had to join the fold. Anyway, I did want to circle back to the Super Bowl a little, more on that, but the first, you played yourself to that Super Bowl 57 grass field in Arizona. This was from Joe Pompliano. He's at Joe Pompliano on Twitter. He tweeted on Super Bowl Sunday, the NFL spent 2 years preparing the grass for Super Bowl 57's field. The grass was grown at a local sod farm in Phoenix. It was installed 2 weeks before the Super Bowl. The field, if you know anything about the Cardinal Stadium, it's natural grass that they roll out to get natural sun. So they did the same with this daily sunshine on this new grass field. The total cost was $800,000. All that just to have players slipping around. You had Jalen Hurts change cleats at halftime. People were eating it. I think people were mic'd up and saying it's one of the worst fields. So you played yourself to that Super Bowl 57 grass. What a total waste of $800,000.
That's a lot of student loans they didn't pay off.
I was just thinking the same thing. Yeah. I think that stadium used to be called University of Phoenix Stadium too, ironically. I did want to preliminarily, we're entering March, so March Madness is upon us. You already know the national anthem by one Future Hendrix. It will be played a bunch, especially in this month. But March Madness, the college basketball variety, is already preliminarily dead, thanks to the Buckeye men's hoops team. This Buckeye men's hoops team were 10-3 at one point in the season, and then proceeded to lose 14 out of their 15 next games.
Is that good?
Yeah, it's not ideal. It's all due respect, but it's fucking atrocious, and they should be ashamed of themselves. But all due respect. Yeah, so they proceeded to lose 14 out of 15 games, and now just to add to that, the Buckeyes have now won 2 games in a row against 2 teams that will be tournament teams and are ranked. So they couldn't just successfully just kind of fade out into darkness and let us end the season. They had to remind us of what could have been. So they won meaningless games at this point. They're going to miss every postseason tournament. Like, I hope they don't even accept an NIT invitation. Like, just let it go. And they did just enough to win a couple at the end of the season against ranked teams. Like, give me a break here. Also, they're weird. This season's really weird because you have like powerhouse blue blood teams that are bubble teams this year. Like UNC and UK are both kind of bubble teams this year. Very odd season. I already know what you're gonna say, and that's the allegiance I'm gonna roll with. So hit it.
Yeah, it's not weird. It's go Cougs, baby. The fact that the University of Houston Cougars are the number 1 ranked team in the country right now. And, I mean, that kind of goes along with the weird theme. I mean, yeah, they were good last few years, but being healthy this year and, yeah, things just seem to be rolling in the right direction. Every time I get a score alert, I don't watch every game, but every time I get a score alert, they've been, kicking someone's ass by 20 points. So it's a good sign. They've lost a couple of weird ones, but you're allowed to lose a few games. March Madness should be fun, man. If you're a Cougars fan, hopefully. We'll see.
Yeah. I think they're going to be a really popular, bracket pick as bracket pools start happening.
Yeah.
But we shall see. I haven't watched too much, but I know the heavy favorites are the Cougs and Purdue. But
Purdue, yeah.
For purposes of our family, Purdue. So anyway, you got any to add on the You Played Yourself docket here?
Oh, of course. I wanted to. I know you brought up our. You played yourself MVP, Kyrie Irving. But there's another one of those guys that deserves to be back on here, Mr. Aaron Rodgers. You are back in the fold.
Yep.
You want to talk about allergic to not being on You Played Yourself? It's Aaron Rodgers. He's no stranger to the section. I think if we went back and tallied up the times that we've had people on there, it's probably close to being a 3-way tie between him, KD, and Kyrie. So he was just in the news the other day, just quote unquote, I don't want to be dragging anyone around. It's very rich coming from a guy for 2 months does this will he won't he dance for retiring for the second fucking year in a row. Like, do we have to keep hearing this shit, bro? Like, we get it, man. You're great. You're a generational talent, but you don't get it done. So at some point, stop getting extensions and go to a different team. Yep. I don't know why you act like you're some loyalist to Green Bay Packers when you don't even, talk to your own family. You have no real loyalty. Like, you just enjoy attention. So everyone knows he's not going to leave $50 million on the table. Like, we know he's going to play this year. If it's for Green Bay, great. We're going to have to do the same fucking song and dance next offseason. And if not, maybe he puts a little life into the Jets or the Raiders or whatever. But, I mean, if I'm any other GM, I'm not touching this guy. Like, he costs too much. He has no postseason success to even, like, speak on over the last 10 years. What postseason success has he had? Absolutely none. He hasn't even been back to the Super Bowl. And it's just like, with all this, like, ayahuasca shit, fucking darkness retreats, man, just come out and say you crave attention. If you didn't treat your family like shit, maybe you would have had a little more attention growing up, and maybe you wouldn't be this way. So it's time to stop being a child. And, like, you're one of the oldest guys in the NFL, and you're like a petulant child throwing a tantrum every single fucking offseason. Like, enough, bro. Just retire already. And he won't retire because Tom Brady also retired, so he's going to have to share that Hall of Fame entrance with Tom Brady, arguably everyone's GOAT. So ain't no way he's retiring. Just say you're going to play and figure it out, man. Enough of this.
Yeah, it's reported that the Panthers reached out. That was new news very recently that they reached out about Rodgers' availability. So
great. So he can go back to another shitty division, get to the playoffs, and lose again. That's pretty much what he's going to do.
Yeah. I like that one.
Yeah, and I got one more you played yourself. I'm going to keep it in the NFL. I doubt this guy's ever been in here. He's hardly relevant anymore, but it's LaShawn McCoy. I don't know, like, once all this Eric Bieniemy stuff, just to recap, Eric Bieniemy has left the Kansas City Chiefs after 5 years, basically three titles and 2 Super Bowl titles, three conference titles and 2 Super Bowl titles. Great run for any OC. For some puzzling reason, he's not getting hired. It's a really weird, strange situation. It's very obviously why it's happening. We don't need to get into all that.
I can't think of a reason. Sorry.
Yeah, it's like some reason that's nagging me because other people have gone under the tutelage of the great Andy Reid, who calls plays, and gone on to get all these head coaching gigs, year after year. Yeah, it's just can't figure it out. We'll let you figure that one out. But back to LaShawn McCoy. Once Bieniemy signed with the Washington Commanders, which is also kind of a goofy decision on his part. But, if it works out, it works out. But LaShawn McCoy tweeted, quote, "I wish him well, but Washington, don't let the Chiefs' success or coaching titles fool you. The traits or skills you need to be a good coordinator, I haven't seen or witnessed it." And it's just really strange that LaShawn McCoy's even butting himself into this. I know he has this new analyst job, and I don't even know if he's good or not. I don't watch the show that he's on. But here's a headline for you from the Sporting News. It was, quote, "LaShawn McCoy wins second straight Super Bowl without playing in either game." So his year or time spent with the Kansas City Chiefs under Eric Bieniemy was few and far between. He got no meaningful snaps in the postseason because he's too busy holding the football like a bread loaf. And we all know it. We all remember watching him. He was a great player. But honestly, like, what gives him the audacity to even speak on another man's livelihood? All these racial implications aside, it's kind of unreal to see what LaShawn McCoy has to say after being pushed off of the roster, basically, in the Eric Bieniemy, Andy Reid offense. It's very obviously sour grapes from his part, but it was so unnecessary and brought so much, like, clickbaity, attention to it that what he's doing, but the damage is far more severe because then fan bases and whenever it comes time to like defend the NFL for allowing Eric Bieniemy to go this long without having a head coaching gig, they're going to use people like LaShawn McCoy as pawns in this argument, even though his point of view really has no weight that it carries, because this dude was riding pine the entire fucking Super Bowl.
Yep.
So you played yourself, LaShawn McCoy.
That's what I was going to say. I think a lot of the new wave people that are on networks are just trying to figure out the most controversial thing to say and get clicks. Clickbait's the perfect way to put it. And he's one of those. He's just trying to like throw shit at the wall and see what sticks. So
pretty much.
Yeah. Okay. I got another one. NFL Combine started this week. You played yourself goes to Bryce Young for not throwing at the NFL Combine. The other top prospects, C.J. Stroud, Will Levis, and Anthony Richardson, are all throwing. Couldn't be me. Bryce Young is not my QB1. And also, just don't forget that when they measure Young and he's 6 feet, 190 pounds, that there's never been a successful QB with that frame. Just think about that. And every critique you had about C.J. Stroud, he proved wrong in that game against Georgia. He was phenomenal in that game. People critiqued him for not being mobile. He created offense. There's so many clips about it. In fact, there's one Louis Riddick just had at the Combine talking about C.J. Stroud might be the gem of the draft. So you're going to hear me complain a lot about it because there are a lot of narratives that get pushed around the draft. And you won't convince me otherwise that there aren't narratives, because Justin Fields in 2021 somehow was the 4th QB taken, and you can't tell me that that makes a lick of sense. So just pay attention to the narratives that are created. I genuinely think, Buckeye fanhood aside, CJ Stroud is the top QB in this class, and he does everything you want him to in a pro quarterback, and he can do it from the pocket. And then he proved the one critique of him is that he couldn't create out of the pocket. He did it like incredibly in that Peach Bowl against what you're gonna see in that NFL draft in last year too. That is a Georgia defense full of NFL talent, and this draft is going to be no different. You're going to see a whole bunch of names from that defense fly off the board, and just remember that when you
he carved them.
Carved them up. 41 points against them.
Carved them, bro. Yeah, like you saw what they did to TCU. Like, there was one team that belonged in that championship game that kind of got screwed by getting matched up with Georgia. But it's crazy, and I'm kind of torn because while he is the best quarterback in my opinion too, because the Texans did what they could to fuck this up and not get the number 1 pick, I do hope Bryce goes first, just to make sure that the Texans can't fuck this pick up. Because in all likelihood, with them signing D'Amico, there are Bama ties, so I can see that happening very obviously. And Bryce is not a bad player; he's been great in college. But like you said, that 6 foot 190, and that 190, you're pushing it, man. Like I know what 190 looks like. He's 190 like wet, maybe out of the pool.
If you want to push that narrative, like everybody wants to do, like the Drew Brees comparison, think about how many times that comparison's been made. Has there been anyone even close to that production? I don't think so.
No.
I just want to circle real quick back to the Justin Fields thing. Just be mindful of those narratives, you number one podcast listeners. I know it won't get past you, but think about this. In 2021, Justin Fields was the 4th quarterback taken. At 11th overall, the Bears trade up for the 4th quarterback taken. You think maybe the Jets and Niners should have taken him over Zach Wilson and Trey Lance now? And you didn't need to be an expert to see that. Justin Fields proved it on the field. And you're going to get obsessed with these like guys throwing in no pads with no defense in combines or pro days. And they just nitpick Justin Fields' throwing motion to death. You remember it. It wasn't that long ago. It was a couple years ago. Somehow he slipped to the 4th quarterback. And by his skill alone, he likely could have got ruined by aforementioned Matt Nagy and the lack of weapons around him. But by his own freaking magician-like play this past year, managed to have an incredible season. Don't get it twisted. They did nothing to help him. He did it himself. So he really could have been ruined and could have impacted his entire career. He would have been labeled a bust because of the situation he went to, where if he went to the Jets, right now he'd have weapons galore around him, including the wide receiver he threw to in college. If he went to the Niners, Kyle Shanahan would – I bet you Brock Purdy wouldn't be a story. Like, I mean, just think about it. Just remember that. So I got to give credit, like I said, to Louis Riddick. He's already talking about C.J. Stroud as a gem. So if I'm going to call out the people that don't talk about him, I got to give love to those that do. You got one more to cover?
Yeah, I do. I got my last submission before I hand it over to you. Let's bring the Los Angeles Dodgers fans and their team and their roster and all these guys up to You Played Yourself.
And their Mickey Mouse.
I know we beat down this Astro storyline a lot. I'm sure a lot of number one podcast listeners are tired of hearing it. But if these MLB writers and all these dudes if they keep bringing it up, you're going to keep getting responses out of me. And it's namely Clayton Kershaw, Mookie Betts. Clayton Kershaw wasn't bothered when the Dodgers hired a former Red Sox staffer who was suspended for a year for his role in the sign-stealing scheme in 2018. He said, quote, "There needs to be a clear distinction between what the Astros did and what everybody else did." So this kind of just tells me, okay, everyone was cheating. The Astros just did it better and ended up winning the championship. And then they're essentially hiring. So if we cheated them out of a title, according to them in 2017, then by the exact same scheme, they got cheated out of 2018, which was the Red Sox. And now they have hired the guy responsible for the Red Sox cheating scheme. And they also coincidentally paid Mookie Betts $300 million, who was on that team. Mookie Betts was also in this interview, and he acknowledged that he was aware that his team was using live video feeds to steal signs too. And he was, quote, "Yeah, everybody was." And it's like, okay, so what have you guys been crying about all these years? And Dodgers fans are crickets right now. And, there's only one team that I know that has won 2 championships in 5 years, and one of those was not in a 60-game Mickey Mouse season. So long story short, keep fucking crying. See you at the parade when we go back to back.
Hey, sound it, baby.
Enough of this shit, man. And if they want to keep bringing it up, then we're going to keep talking about it. But if you don't want to bring it up and just kind of let it be, like all the other cheating of every other baseball controversy in years past, then let's move on with it and try winning a game. Try not choking in the DS to the Padres.
So congratulations, you
Facts.
played yourself.
You know what I'm saying? I
did want to circle a little bit back to the NBA All-Star game. I got You Played Yourself. I hate to do it because of one of the names included on here, but You Played Yourself goes to LeBron James, Ja Morant, Zion Williamson, the likes of those guys. And the reason is those 3 guys have never competed in a slam dunk contest. And I think this new tradition of not competing in it is lame as hell. I usually hate old heads hating on current players, but the few times I agree with them, number one is load management. And you'll see some current players that don't love it either, namely Anthony Edwards recently. Paul George spoke up about it and related it to the injuries increasing, maybe having to do with kind of that load management. So I thought that was an interesting take. But the best dunkers no longer compete in the slam dunk contest, and that sucks. To me, maybe, one or maybe the only LeBron's resume blemish is that he's never done a slam dunk contest. Ja Morant is widely known as one of the best dunkers. Looks like he's floating up there. He said, quote, "I'm not doing the dunk contest." End quote. He said it would take 1 billion likes for him to do it. To me, it's fucking lame. And me being the petty person I am, I think I'm going to stop refusing to acknowledge their dunks in game with the same hype. While they continue to act too big for the slam dunk contest. I can't knowingly be that pumped about something they do in game when they've never been crowned anything to me. So You can sound it for that one, but you played yourself.
Petty alert, petty alert, petty alert.
Honestly, like that. And back to the old head thing, I don't think the old head thing is really that. First of all, is this really just an indicator that we are now becoming old heads? Because I fully agree with all that. The load management shit sucks. Silver needs to probably step in and get rid of all these back-to-back. So if that's the real reason why they're doing all this load management.
He already has. That's kind of the critique is like he's made it so he's kind of acquiesced to the players so much that it's like he's kind of at their mercy at this point. And I think Charles Barkley was saying something like that. He's like, I think everybody loves Adam Silver, even the old players do, because he's brought the game forward and all that. But it's kind of created this other end of the spectrum where you're seeing load management. This is the one time where I do get the argument. Like, there are people that legitimately can't go to multiple games, and they save up to go see a particular player, or take their kid to go see a particular player.
Yeah, man, this is a fan's game, man.
Yeah. And I think the minute you start losing sight of that is kind of where you slip into a dangerous territory. People stop losing interest, like that sort of thing. I'm not saying they're anywhere close to that, but load management is like absolutely the major issue in NBA because they don't have much of any issues right now. They have a good relationship between the Players Association and the league. But that's the major thing I think the league has to stand on. You know me, I'm always pro players, but that's the one. Like, best players got to play. You got to show up.
Absolutely. Unless you're actually hurt. You get paid the most money. So unless you're actually injured, you should be suiting up and playing. Like maybe minutes, maybe we talk about minutes restrictions, but you're going to take the entire game off just because you don't play back-to-backs like Kawhi or whatever. Like, give me a fucking break, man. Like, I'm with that. And then back to the dunk contest, it's like, I know a big reason is like, for example, like LeBron and Ja Morant, probably the biggest reason that they don't want to do it is because there is a small inkling that they'll lose. But here's the thing. If they do it in the first place, there's absolutely no way the NBA is going to let them lose. There's just no fucking way because their ratings will skyrocket. Everyone's going to be watching every single dunk that both of them do, and neither of them will lose.
Yep.
And if they're playing together, they would be in the finals. I mean, obviously, LeBron can't out-dunk Ja at the age that he's at. And like, Ja Morant has like a 60-inch vertical, man. Like, it's not happening.
That ship has sailed for LeBron. It's just more of a critique that he never did it early.
Yeah, it's
Ja
whack.
Morant and Zion are still at the age they should do it, I think. But
yeah, for sure.
Anyway, you know me, I like to mix in a couple candidates for immediate retirement. You played yourself a little outside the realm of sports, that sort of thing. But I got to bring this one back, and it's the if you know, you know. I fucking hate this, and I keep seeing it all the time. I think I've talked about it before. It's probably in a past episode, but I had to bring it back. Nothing says attention-seeking like posting an inside joke or inside thing for the masses. Like, what's the fucking point? I hate if you know, you know. Because if they know, you probably don't need to post it, right? Like, it's legitimately pointless. Just send it directly to the person. So that's my first candidate. Second up, I told you I'd pay this one off. The Super Bowl reminded me. Why do adults feel the need to have to root for a team that isn't your favorite? You don't have to pick a side and make up a reason in order to watch a game. And this is a good time to call out you, my co-host, my big bro, Roshan Bhatt, for rooting for the Eagles because Jalen Hurts is from Houston. Listen, everyone.
Happen, bro.
Team Snacks is available to you all, especially in the Super Bowl. Team Snacks is always there for you. They're your second favorite team. You don't need multiple favorite teams. This is one of those irrational things that bothers me. Like, I'm not saying the Eagles are your second favorite team. By no means am I saying that. I'm calling you out for saying you're rooting for the Eagles. Like, fuck, Jalen Hurts has a picture with Astros gear on with H-Town, but then he stopped repping them as hard when they played in the Super Bowl, like, because he was scared of the backlash. Like, if you're with us, you're with us. If not, let's keep it
It's
pushing.
literally like the bare minimum reason, and I put it all out on the line for that.
Yeah.
I feel that.
Yeah. So, anyway. But yeah,
in my defense, however, I did predict that the Chiefs would win. while I root for Jalen Hurts, I was like, the Chiefs are going to win.
He did ball
like,
out.
And I was like, the
ball
Chiefs
out.
are going to win on a Patty Mahomes game-winning field goal drive. Like, that's how this shit's going to end. I got the receipts,
You already
people.
know. Yep. Last but not least, and I know you agree with this one because we've talked about it. Listen, I know Panera does like a lot of good with donating their excess food. They have flat out locations. I know in big cities, I think they're called like Panera Cares, where people can come in and pay what they can afford. They have like cool concepts like that. But I got a bone to pick with these prices, man. Panera's out here charging sit-down restaurant prices. And then their reward system's a crock of shit. How am I always multiple visits away from a reward when I spend this much money? It makes no sense at all. So you played yourself to Panera, and I got a lot of, people agreeing with me. A couple of takes where they're like, it's just rebranded hospital food. That was a funny one.
Yeah.
But I know you agree with this.
I do. I actually think Panera is the single worst food establishment in this country. Close runner-up is Subway, but we're not. This is about Panera.
But all due respect, though.
Everything on Panera's menu tastes like it has the same 5 ingredients. Like, I don't care if you get like a chicken, like a Santa Fe chicken sandwich or whatever the fuck it's called there, or if you get like a veggie sandwich or you get like a BLT, all them shits taste the same. I don't know what it is about their food, but if they didn't have allegedly fresh baked bread, like, no one would go there. These sandwiches are mid as fuck. They also have the audacity to give you an apple instead of like a real side. Like, what the fuck is with the apple, man? Like, the apple is infuriating. I want chips. And like, you make me pay extra for the chips, and then the soup's all shit. Like, I hate Panera, man. I'm glad they're doing you wrong, because I hope you just stop going there.
I'll do respect, though.
Yeah.
I'll do no disrespect, but worst chain ever. Okay, that concludes You Played Yourself. Hopefully that was nice and meaty to make up for that sorry ass February that I left you with number one podcast listeners. No disrespect though. Okay, last episode, Sonny and I talked about the NFL head coaching vacancies. We talked about like the best openings. I don't want to rehash that, but I did want to give an update because obviously those openings have been filled. We're heading into combine and draft season, so obviously they're all filled. So the 5 vacancies in the NFL, I'll go down the list here. Houston Texans, I think, made the best hire out of the group. They got DeMeco Ryans, former Houston Texan player. He's San Francisco's defensive coordinator, which that defense was incredible. The Cardinals hired former Eagles defensive coordinator Jonathan Gannon for their head coaching job. That was previously held by Cliff Kingsbury. The Carolina Panthers hired former Colts coach Frank Reich to their head coaching position. He was fired midseason. Famously, they replaced him with Jeff Saturday, as we all remember. The Denver Broncos hired Sean Payton. Sean Payton kind of interviewed with all teams, and he essentially picked the Broncos, so they had to send some draft compensation to the Saints because he was technically still rights to the Saints. The Indianapolis Colts hired Eagles offensive coordinator Shane Steichen to the head coaching job. So if you're keeping tabs, the Eagles lost both their offensive and defensive coordinators from their Super Bowl run. So on that note, I also wanted to note some notable coordinator hires. You mentioned earlier Eric Bieniemy moving from Kansas City to Washington. Cowboys offensive coordinator Kellen Moore. I guess they were like mutually agreed to part ways or whatever they did. He's now the Chargers offensive coordinator. A name that was floated a lot for head coaching vacancies, Ejiro Evero. He's Denver's defensive coordinator. He moved over to the Panthers, so that seemed like a notable move. It seemed like he kind of needed a change of scenery. I think the report was Sean Payton wanted to keep him, but I think he wanted to move on. Brian Flores was some weird title for the Steelers, basically the
think it's like a linebacker coach or something, or like assistant, like assistant defensive coach and linebackers
job
coach or
prospects. Mike Tomlin wanted him there, but he got a defense coordinator job for the Vikings. And then Vance Joseph, who's been a former head coach, hasn't really got opportunities like that. He moved from the Cardinals and filled the Denver defense coordinator job that was vacated by Evero. So just a few there to note. So I only got one who you got for this episode, and because I know we're going to focus a lot more on draft later and all that stuff, combine, scouting. So I did want to float this one. We mentioned Justin Fields earlier, but the Chicago Bears, who have the number 1 overall pick, sore subject because the Texans really they won their way out of that spot. But I wanted to get your take, what you think they should do. Should they keep their pick or trade out? Obviously, the argument has been there. It's been a hot topic of debate. Keeping the pick would obviously involve trading away Justin Fields. The argument being that you would be able to get a rookie quarterback and reset the timetable with the rookie contract. Obviously, Fields is going to be entering his 3rd year. And as you know, first-round picks get 4-year contracts with a team option for 5. So he's right in the middle of his rookie contract. So the idea is that you trade him, you get assets, and get to restart your rookie QB deal. Or do they trade the number 1 pick to give Justin Fields presumably weapons or protection on the offensive line? Obviously, you know where I stand. I think they should keep Justin Fields. I'm starting to see the argument for it because I think if you get Fields to a better position, it'd be good for him. And I get that this team, they do have a lot of cap space and assets, but you're still a lot of pieces away from being competitive, in my opinion. So then you're still kind of wasting Fields, even though you're giving him more weapons. Yeah. It's like you're getting closer to a 500 team instead of like making a huge leap. Nonetheless, I think you go with what's known over the mystery. I think Fields is coming off a great season. He made things happen despite having almost nothing around him. So I really like the prospects of seeing where he can develop with even a few more weapons or a weapon on the wide receiver core. I know they traded for Chase Claypool, but I think they would presumably get another weapon in the draft and/or bolster their offensive line. What do you got?
Well, yeah, I mean, look what Jalen Hurts. Look what he did with A.J. Brown. Like,
great example.
It was instant impact.
And drafting Devontae Smith.
Yeah, I mean, like, so I think in the pecking order of the 3 options, I think the best option would be to trade Fields because there's teams that are essentially a quarterback away. Like if San Francisco just just took the L, or if like the Jets were like, all right, we're moving on. Like Justin Fields' upside versus whatever Aaron Rodgers has left and what you have to pay Aaron Rodgers. Yeah. Like that's a no-brainer to me. Like you have a franchise quarterback for the next 10 years versus you have Aaron Rodgers for 3 years or 2 years or whatever it might be. So I think trading him to a better situation is best for Justin Fields. Yeah. I think for the team, it would probably be trading the number 1 pick. Yeah. Either way, I don't think they need. I mean, and they could just trade like Indianapolis, like and just move down 3 spots. Probably end up with fucking Will Anderson anyway. And because like, there's no way the Texans are not going to get a quarterback. Like whoever is number 2. Like whoever's there, if Bryce Young goes first, then we'll probably take Stroud or whoever else. And I can honestly see all 4 of those quarterbacks going in the top 10. So I think like Will Anderson or some of these guys like I don't remember all the names off the top of my head, but you know
Jalen Carter's in some legal trouble, but he's the top prospect on a lot of boards.
And then there was like the dude from Tech. What was his name? Tyree Wilson. And then you have like a bunch of other people. But like, yeah, I think like either way, you don't want them to draft someone at 1. I think trading the number 1 pick would probably be the best for the team. So I can definitely see them doing that. the Colts will be the likeliest, or trade Fields to a team that's better for him, and then get obviously a haul. I mean, shit, dude, trade him to the Ravens.
Yeah.
Figure it out.
I mean, that's
like,
that's an interesting scenario too. Lamar Jackson's up for a contract. He doesn't have an agent. He negotiates for himself, and they're reportedly really far apart. They're kind of a mess right now. Their GM was being interviewed, called out like how their wide receivers haven't panned out, and Rashad Bateman did not like that.
I saw that.
Usually buttoned up franchise historically has some drama. Heading into the combine, but I mean there are quite a few teams in that top little part that could be trading up. I think the Colts are a likely, trade partner with the Bears. Even the Texans, if they want to get their guaranteed top prospect, you could see them do that. I think also there's been reports maybe the Seahawks would get a quarterback and not sticking with Geno the long term. Obviously, the Panthers are a team in the top half and that would need a quarterback. The Raiders, who let Derek Carr go, and then Falcons. There are quite a few teams in the top half that would be quarterback shopping. So it's going to be fascinating because there are some experienced guys out there, and then who's going to kind of start fresh with a new quarterback. I
think it's going to be a pretty fun draft.
I hope so.
Week.
I love seeing that.
It's shaping up to be a good one anyway.
Yes, one of my favorites. Okay. Now, let's move on to what you feeling, and I'll let you go first before I say mine.
Yeah, what I'm feeling, gotta be the new nephew. Shout out to my brother Nickett. January 17th, our nephew Rayon was born. He's a peach, man. He's cute. So I've been, obviously I live in Austin now, so it's been a little tiring, but driving back to Houston every couple of weeks to see him and the fam, and seeing,
love it.
Nick and my sister-in-law become parents and really embrace that has been pretty sweet, man. And being an uncle is cool. Obviously, there's not a lot of responsibility, so it's even greater. You just get to be the fun uncle, Funkle, baby.
Yeah, amen.
And other than that, I think I am very anti-winter. I'm very anti-gloomy days. I'm very anti-daylight savings time, so I'm looking forward to springtime. Daylight savings time, that sun not going down till 8:30. I love that, man. I love the summer. I love swimming here. I love Texas heat. I live in Austin now, so I know South by Southwest isn't like super big anymore, but I'm kind of looking forward to just catching a few shows, just like by being close by and seeing what's around, and being an Austin resident here. So looking forward to all that stuff.
Yeah, shout out the new nephew for sure. That's top of the list.
Man. Easily.
Nothing tops that. But recently, I've now watched all 10 Oscars Best Picture nominees officially.
All right.
Those of you number one podcast listeners may or may not remember, my wife's always been a big Oscars fan, and a few years back, I wanted to have a dog in the fight, so to speak. So, I said, I want to know what these movies are. So want to have an opinion on the ones that are nominated, and they're historically movies I wouldn't go see, so it helps me see movies kind of outside of my usual realm of popcorn munching action or comedies. So gives me a chance to see some really quality movies that I ordinarily wouldn't, and also form opinions on them. So I've really enjoyed that part over the last few years. We've managed to still see them thanks to like streaming and all that. It makes it easier because obviously with a 1-year-old, it's harder to get to the movie theaters like it was a few years ago. But I think this is the odds favorite. Everything Everywhere All at Once. It is my favorite. I thought it was such a unique story.
Incredible movie, man.
Yeah, fantastic movie. Second on my list is Banshees of Inisherin. That movie is actually, both of these are available on streaming. I think Everything Everywhere All at Once is on like Stars or Showtime or one of them. And Banshees of Inisherin is on HBO Max. So if you have either one of those, they're easily accessible. Those, you can at least say you saw those two. One of the nominated ones is on Netflix. That's All Quiet on the Western Front. That's a World War One movie. Great look at, life in the trenches. It's fantastically shot. I think those are the main ones that are real. Elvis is readily available on HBO Max too, and I think a lot of people have seen. There's a few blockbuster movies on there where a lot of people would have seen him. The Avatar movie, the Avatar 2, The Way of the Water, and Top Gun Maverick, which is a fantastic movie, is also on that. So, some accessible movies. You still got some time, I think.
Few weeks, right?
Yeah, a few weeks. The Oscars are coming up, so
yeah.
The hardest one that I found that we had to find was Women Talking. We have like one kind of independently owned movie theater. It was date night, so my wife and I were able to see that one, but that one wasn't available like for streaming or anything like that. So that's going to be a tough one to see, but maybe it's easier if you're in a bigger city. It depends. Okay. And then next up, what I'm feeling is the SZA concert. SZA opened up her tour in Columbus. Couldn't have predicted that, but she started her tour in Columbus. It was phenomenal. It was such a great production and stage setup. I think there have been... I know Complex's account just posted recently about some of the visuals from it. So if you get a chance, go check it out if she's coming to your city. Obviously, fantastic vocals. It was a great show. Really impressed me. It's her first stadium tour, and you could tell they really, really thought it through and worked on the production value of it.
Nice.
And then last but not least, we got to take my son Barrett to the zoo for the first time, which was incredible. To see him, yell when he got to see the tiger. He loves calling out the tiger, and that was one of those cool moments to see the world through his eyes as it gets even more fun as they get older and personality starts to develop. So that was a good time. Glad we got to do that. But yeah, that's what I'm feeling.
Nice, man.
Yeah. All right. Let's wrap up this edition of Prem Brulee. You already know it's got to be too much sense, so let's hit that intro, baby. My too much sense for this edition of Prem Brulee is a reminder to not hold other people to standards that you set in your own head or the standards that you've set for yourself. So you all know I'd like to try to connect it to my own life. I've been trying to improve in this arena. So most of my too much sense connect to something that pertains to me. I was and still occasionally am bothered when actions or things people say aren't reciprocated. But what I realized what I was doing is holding other people to the standards I set for myself. And there were standards that in my head I expected in return because I was delivering them. Not only is that other person not in my head, but they might have different standards and priorities that they are meeting in their own head. So how could they ever meet your standards if they don't know them in the first place? Your thoughts and actions towards others can't be dependent on other people or external factors. Everything externally is out of your control anyway. So validate what you can control yourself internally. So that's my too much sense for the week. Don't hold other people to the standards that you've set in your own head, or the standards you expect them to live up to when they don't even know them in the first place. So yeah, it's my too much sense for the week. Little reminder for myself, something I'm always trying to learn.
That's a great one, man.
Thanks, man. That does it for a brand new edition of Prem Brulee. You number one podcast listeners, appreciate you. No, I dropped the ball in February, but with all due respect, that I had to come correct in March.
Sorry for the hiatus, baby.
So I appreciate you all, but we're back. Prem Brulee's back. Rush, I want to thank you for joining me, man. As always.
Always a pleasure, man.
Yes, sir. And you number one podcast listeners, you know the drill. Like these episodes, share them. Tell a friend. Tell a friend to tell a friend. Say, we're back strong in March. But we'll talk to you next time. You number one podcast listeners. Peace.
Peace.